Welcome back to this game of Vaesen, the story that we are telling together as we move through the thin line in the space between the worlds of fantasy and the world of our story, our history, and seeing what tangled webs we weave through the two of them, through both of them. Last we left off, our heroes have made their way from one point in time in 1943, Belfast, Ireland, through a portal, chasing after an immortal undead, and find themselves upon the deck of a ship that should no longer be upon the waters, but it should in fact be beneath them. They are aboard the RMS Titanic. Not entirely sure what day it is. It is nighttime, but we are aboard a ship on its maiden voyage. Our target, the reason that we are aboard the ship, has vanished after our Nehemiah has attempted to stake him in the back. He disappeared into a mist and was gone. We are picking up right where we left off. Drew, you were the last one through the portal. Your body is in rough shape. You're not like bleeding out or anything, but your body is like bruised, ribs cracked, muscles bruised, and you're bloodied right now. I'll say the cold is the first thing that you notice. It's a stark contrast to the sort of the month of October and all the weather that October brings with it in Ireland. This is a clean, immediate, and mean, biting cold. A cold that I'll say you've never felt before. Not even in Ireland. It slides through like your clothes and it just sucks the warmth right out of you. None of you, in fact, are dressed for this weather aboard this ship. I think the only person who might be, depending on what form they're in, would probably be Cliff. Drew, what state, both mentally and physically, just describe for us, where do you find yourself in this moment?
Wow. I think that the crossing was filled with the energy of being bruised physically and mentally in such a way and in such a quick fashion that there's a hesitation even when he crosses of what am I going to do? Like, how do I help in this scenario with the things that I know? And I think as soon as he steps through, all of that sort of takes a secondary position as the cold hits him. And it's almost as if the cold is hugging his body and he's feeling it in all the parts that hurt. And it's just that gasp of the cold and the environment that I think makes him stumble, like take a couple of steps back, just reactionary, as he tries to gather his senses in the environment. But I think whatever the nearest surface, like wall, that his body makes contact with, I think he just slides down and ends up like sitting on the floor, one arm wrapped around his rib cage. And he's just dealing with the concept of having to make sense of what I'm currently seeing, how I'm currently feeling, and then everything that happened before.
Cliff, as you have shifted back into your are you in your hybrid form now, or are you fully in your human form?
what is human nowadays. He was in hybrid form as he ran through. But I think someone who, like him, has been not hiding, but sticking to shadows, sticking to darkness, sticking to stealthy ways, not knowing exactly what to expect or what this is, has immediately, you see the fur receding, you see the eyes no longer as bulging, the nails going back into normal fingernails, has returned to the human that they are. Very much confused, in a way that even someone like him, this feels weird.
As you take your first steps upon the deck, you feel the wind and the air just sort of buffet. You feel like your exhale just sort of blooms in front of you. This your breath immediately turns into this mist. The air is incredibly frigid, and you are already tired. But it is, you feel not only tired from the energy that you've already exerted, but sort of being buffeted by this cold. It is really rough right now. Before you is, I'll say, having been around the shipwright yards in Belfast at the docks, you definitely are able to sort of very quickly ascertain what part of the ship you're on. You are, in fact, on the poop deck, which is the rearmost portion of the ship. And you are looking around and you see RMS Titanic upon the I'll say the wall directly in front of you. And this is the wall that Drew has sort of kneeled against. You see it plain as day. RMS Titanic. Nehemiah. The main deck that you're on, the topmost portion of the deck that's stretching out beneath this sky of stars above you, it feels unreal. Like, it doesn't, like, how could this be? Like, how could you guys come to be in this place? There is no moon. It's just black sky. It was just crowded with starlight, with, like the Milky Way itself is just sort of laid bare above you, as the ship lights are not enough light pollution to actually obscure anything. Where do you find yourself, having just tried to stab your target in the back?
I think he kind of comes through with force, because obviously, he was trying to stab someone. It wasn't like, he's putting some effort behind his swing. So I think he ends up on his hands and knees on the deck. And I think the stake kind of folds under him a bit, so that it's like in his hand and it didn't like stab into the deck itself. And he kind of looks up and around as you've described. And I think his first instinct, realizing that he is on the deck of this place, is to hide that stake. So I think it kind of just goes into his jacket, or maybe he tries to slip it up his sleeve. And he's surveying his surroundings.
Dove, as the sight that greets you as having crossed through from one space to the next, you find your hand sort of steadies itself on a rail, and it is sort of just filled with there's just ice that is sort of like coating it. And there's like the smell of the sea just full in your nostrils in this moment. And then there's also the vibration on the deck, this low vibration hum of the engines, these very powerful engines propelling you into the darkness. Where is Dove mentally, physically?
I think mentally, Dove is breaking through the cusp of an adrenaline rush, which is very quickly crashing and dropping, kind of like a couple of hours after binging an entire cake by yourself. Just that absolute drop of energy, that feeling of hitting a wall, an invisible wall. And I think the second she breathes in, and it's that stinging cold that makes it feel like there's little knives in your lungs, that she just gasps and realizes where she is physically, which is on the brink of disaster, and is going to take the opportunity to lean heavily on the rail, even though it is covered in ice and freezing cold, and check out the rest of her friends to make sure they are not as bad off. And yeah, I think she's leaving adrenaline rush and coming into, oh no, what's going on?
As this environment sort of brings you all into focus, Aoife, you feel everything, and you hear all of these things, and then you have this sort of emotional, almost a letdown, like this sudden drop. The cold is just sort of like driving the air out of you. You're having and then it sort of all hits. Everything that you've seen, at least in your past 24 hours, a place that you called home suddenly taken over, the calling that you thought you had suddenly upended and thrown into chaos, friends hurt, and somebody that you, from your past, is gone. Like, the reason you have any common thread with a lot of the people that you consider friends and close is gone now, even though your sight still remains. And above, the next thing that you sort of register is the sound of a party, like the sound of music and dancing, and music that doesn't sound that far removed from music that you know and are familiar with. It sounds like an Irish song, like an Irish folk song, playing like Irish dancing music. Just a faint whisper of it on the air.
As Aoife steps through this portal, like you said, everything kind of comes crashing in all at once. I have this visual of her torso. When you step out into the cold and it finally sinks to your skin and you feel all your muscles and bones tense up at once as if it's covered with ice suddenly. It was like this whole day and how fast everything was passing. Stressful, yes, emotional, of course, and intense. But the pressure of the tasks that needed to be taken care of were holding the true depth of everything that was going on from her core. But the shock of the cold, it's like it lets all the daggers hit her core at once, the center of her torso. And it creates this clouded confusion that comes up her spinal column and into her head. And as she hears this music, I think she almost gets lost in this moment. Like maybe this is some kind of weird, fantastical dream. I mean, she's seen crazy things before, but not so much like this, not all at once, and like you've pointed out, not all in 24 hours like this. So I think she hears this music and she looks to it as if it's like an exit from this this hellscape of a time period. And as everyone is kind of taken by this weather around her, she certainly is too, but her steps start to drag her towards that sound without thinking, just kind of trying to grasp that some sense of clarity, something familiar. So, not quite quickly, but I think she starts to take steps, cold steps.
I do think that Cliff would not like be the first to snap out of it or anything like that, but because he's an anomaly in the most mundane of ways. The average.
He's seen some shit.
He's seen some shit, of course, but at the end of the day, he also knows that he is different as well. Different in ways that most people just aren't. So perhaps he can take this truth a little easier than the average person. But again, not some god who understands everything. He's just like, I'm on a boat. Why? But seeing Aoife begin to move, I do think it's not harsh. It's not meant to be painful or anything like that, but he just naturally is a little stronger. There is almost a paw on your shoulder.
Is it a paw or is it a hand?
It's not a paw, but it's
Sure.
grounded. That doesn't necessarily stop you from moving, but there is a resistance.
Yeah, I think that would stop her. I think she would feel your hand on her shoulder, your paw as it were, and would look to it. Again, slowly. It's these when you're so cold you can barely move. It's those kinds of things. So she would look to your hand and then look up to you, and you would just see this glazed look over her eyes, clearly just searching for something to ground herself with. And fortunately, actually, that grounded her a little bit. And she looks at you and be like, inside.
Hold on. We don't know exactly what this is. And as he says this, I know this is a cat thing, but I just think for a moment you see his ears like flicker slightly, and you see his eyes almost dilate. I'm going to use my eagle eye talent to try to interpret a situation I'm not involved in, specifically party. What is going on? Because at the end of the day, a vampire just not shunted us, but this is the end destination of them. So like, what's different about the now? So we're not just going to walk into a space we don't know.
You're trying to see if like the vampire's presence has had any effect on what's happening?
Well, just in general, the fact that there's now, Vaesen has officially, in the ways that obviously there's history, and we know that, there's a lady who was on the boat, or whatever the case may be, there's now official Vaesen presence here. So what is different? What do we need to just note for?
Got it. Okay.
So yeah, I get a +2 to vigilance when trying to interpret a situation I'm not involved in. So that in vigilance is logic, so that'd be 6 dice.
Nice.
Because I'm not, Well, funny enough, logic is my least stat, but this helps with that. Jesus. Okay. 2 successes.
2 successes.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so I'll say 2 successes. As you immediately start to assess, like you put the paw on Aoife's shoulder, just to steady her, but also just to gain, like very quickly, assess the situation, perspective, take it all in. You recognize, okay, we're on the poop deck of the ship. This ship, I guess, is the Titanic. And as you're sort of taking in the environment, all the sounds, you hear the music. It seems to be music of just joyful just joyful music that seems to be born of hope. These songs do not seem to have, because most, I'll make a generalization, most Irish, Scottish folk songs tend to have roots in sort of sadness, despair sometimes, and heartbreak. These seem to be born of celebration, gaiety, and joy. Of a story of a new story that is hopefully going to happen across the sea. And it seems like that is where at least the people of this ship seem to be, at least in their frame of mind currently. This all seems to be very real. This does not seem to be any kind of fantastical, magical event. At least the thing that got you here may have been. This seems to be very real.
And that's ultimately, the question is, like, how much... I mean, we need to be on our guard regardless, because this is strange in many versions of that word, but this is not immediate danger. With that, I think his hand lifts off of Aoife's shoulder. I want to be clear that I was not necessarily moving upon this mortal coil when this kind of like displays his hand to the Titanic made its voyage, which is telling me, 1, we are not where we were, 2, we are not when we were. Whatever's happening is true, because it's happening in time.
Aoife doesn't know how to Aoife doesn't know how to process that right now.
Aoife. Actually,
Yes.
I'm sorry. Yes,
No.
Aoife.
Yes?
As you sort of hear these words, on your other shoulder, not the shoulder that Cliff has his paw on, but on the other shoulder, you feel something alight there.
A light?
Actually, you feel something. You feel two things alight there, and you hear a tiny little voice in your ear.
Do you think she saw us? No. She's just a daft human. She can't possibly see us.
When you say
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, when you say a light, like, what do you mean, like fire? Land. Okay.
You feel something land, something slight and tiny.
Okay. Please continue. I'm so sorry.
You hear these voices, these tiny little chirps, tweet sounding voices that are now upon your other shoulder.
Sure. I am going to look in that direction.
You see two, and you know this because you've seen others like them before. You see two pixies who are now upon your shoulder, and they seem to be in sort of a heated debate about whether or not you actually recognize or see them.
No, I don't think she saw us. Do you think she has any treats? I think... She just spoke to me.
I did speak to you.
Oh, she's still speaking to me.
Hello? Why are you on my shoulder?
At this point, the rest of you suddenly hear Aoife speaking to a very tiny little, like, chirping sounding voice that you now all can see. Maybe with the Drew, you're still like, ugh. But Nehemiah, Cliff, Dove, you see these tiny little creatures upon Aoife's shoulder.
Nehemiah is going to move immediately to kind of shield Aoife should anyone come like down the way so that it doesn't look like she's talking to no one. Like he just kind of moves in place and just like he kind of like does the 3/4 like quarter position so that way if someone comes around it looks like maybe she's talking to him. So, but he does nothing else other than that. Like he's just like, just making cover at this point.
Gotcha.
Is my shoulder warm enough for you?
Oh, that's so very kind. A human thinking nicely of us. To be honest, we were going to take all your valuables the moment you turned a blind eye, but you seem to be very courteous, and you've.
I was going to say, you're going to trade me for my warmth.
Well, you know what? These are hard times for us folk, and a trade actually does sound very reasonable. Yes,
Here. And they don't really have a pocket to speak of. They are pretty much just tiny little naked creatures that have these very, very thin gossamer wings that seem to sprout from their backs with these little tiny hats that they're wearing. That seem to be made of like dried leaves. They're very brown. In fact, their skin is very pale and reddish almost. But they appear and they have, how about this? And they pull out, seemingly from thin air, a key. And they're like, we swiped this from one of the bosuns. Would this be a fair trade if you don't mind just lending us your shoulder for a bit, before, until at least you move along and get out of the cold yourself?
What strings are attached?
Oh, why would there be strings?
I look around at everyone else observing this conversation.
At this point, Drew, you do notice that Aoife is having an actual conversation with pixies.
I'm mostly looking to see if anyone is interested in what this key is. I don't believe it to be relevant to perhaps what this ship is. But does anyone acknowledge it or seem interested in what this is happening here?
I mean, I think Dove seems extremely interested, but she doesn't seem tempted to take anything from these little things. So she's pretty close, actually, but is still kind of clutching her arm into her side to keep, the soreness from spreading, and is looking over your shoulder at the pixie, did you say it was? Yeah. And just kind of trying to keep the interaction in her brain. Can I also hear what they're saying?
Oh, yeah. You all have the sight, so you were able to hear their voices, but it's like they were speaking directly to Aoife, so it's almost like their tiny little voices have directional volume. So if they're speaking to you or in your direction, that's when you hear them best. These creatures tend to normally try to maintain complete invisibility, but whether due to the atmosphere, or not the atmosphere, but the temperature and how cold they are giving up their position.
I will say, because, Cliff is standing right next to Aoife.
Yeah.
Big dog man, staring directly at these pixies, who admitted that they were going to try to rob Aoife before this trade. Yep. Just the most unenthused, not happy sigh and stare. And as they offer the key, it is not snatched, but it is.
Ooh, wait! If you're going to reach for it, I would oh, no. I think we can figure out a different agreement, but until then, you can be in my servitude.
Oh yeah, anything. We just want the warmth, just the warmth from you, and I mean, really, any one of you will do.
Right.
But it's just we're very cold right now.
You've chosen me. You've stolen my warmth. May my friend here, Cliff, assess that key that you have.
They look at you, Cliff, and it's like they see you.
I'm not hungry.
Oh, good. Okay, he's not hungry, Phaedra. He's not hungry. He's fine. Okay. Well, here you go. And they very slightly hand the key over in your direction, Cliff.
And as he takes it, he says, "Besides, you'd be nothing more than popcorn. I would need multiple." And he'll start
Popcorn is
looking.
my father's name.
It's above me now. Yeah, he mentioned out loud the bosun. I surprisingly, I know a little bit. Cliff knows a little bit about boats for a very specific reason, but taking that just, well, this would mean taking someone's room, which means the chance of them discovering that their room is taken. But we don't have many options.
Oh, should we tell him, Phaedra? No, he'll figure. Well, I don't know.
Canines are bared.
Okay. You go ahead, Phaedra. The one named Phaedra will try to stand up very tall. You'll see even though they be tiny, you'll see a visible gulp in where their throat is. So I don't want to be the one correcting you, but it isn't actually a room key. The bosun had it. It gives access to the lower levels of the ship. It opens certain doors that are mainly for maintenance, but it's a ship key, not necessarily a room key.
I think Key, not haphazardly, will make sure that there's eye contact between him and Nehemiah. I think Key will be tossed to Nehemiah. Not something Cliff needs to keep himself. But we'll just, okay. Thank you.
Nehemiah, without looking, just kind of grabs it out of the air and just stuffs it in a pocket. Well, he keeps lookout, like he just kind of saw the glint of something and just snatches it and pockets it.
Phaedra, do you think maybe we could exchange for some more? I know what you're thinking, but I know it's just bloody cold out here. So you young girl, you wouldn't happen to, would it be okay if, you see, myself and my family, we could really use more of the warmth, and it wouldn't be, if it wouldn't be too much trouble, we would love to, concealed, use the warmth of your person as you make your way below decks. I'm it won't be for too long. Just as the moment you get closer down towards the more heated portions of the ship, we'll bid our farewells. But till then, would you mind if we kept close to you and to your friends?
Could you explain your purpose?
Just to gain some heat for our survival. Our young ones are very not used to this very formidable passage across. It's very far away from our circle in the land, and this is a very. It's a very dangerous trip for myself and for my family and for many other of our kind. And so we were wondering, would it be possible to use the warmth that you provide?
I just wonder, I forget what the insight skill is, but I would like to intuit what, if they're lying to me or not.
So the insight, so that would be, let's see here, that would be...
Sorry, Sparrow.
No, you're fine. I was thinking the same thing, but I was going to try and use Eagle Eye since he's not directly involved in the conversation.
That's fair. Everyone get
that would
involved.
be an
Pretty sure it's observation.
observation.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Observation. Wonderful. It's observation and then
Empathy. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's always the one that's next to it. Yeah.
And I'm rolling that many dice, right?
Roll that many dice, you're just looking for sixes.
Okay, thank you. I'm so sorry. Okay.
While that is happening, Drew, give me I'll say, hold 1 second. I believe give me a vigilance check. I will ask you, it's always one or the other.
I did get 2 6s. That's all I care about, right? No other numbers?
2 6s.
Yeah.
No successes for Drew.
No successes. Okay. All right. Aoife,
Mm-hmm.
what you see before you is a pixie, and what appears to be the pixie's partner. They are shivering in the cold. On their faces, you could see how their tiny, tiny, tiny little tear ducts have almost become frozen tiny little icicles on their cheeks. They do not seem, at least at this point, to be telling any... By their body language, they do not seem to be showing any kind of guile in this moment. They seem to be being very straightforward, even though they were a moment ago thinking about robbing you. But at this moment, they seem to be on the up and up.
Just keen on getting low below deck.
Yes.
Okay. In which case, I would say, no funny business attached. That might be a trade that we might be able to put it on the tab, so to speak.
Would it hold true for the others?
I don't know. You have to ask them. And I'd look around and say, I trust it for the time being.
I trust you.
How does that make you feel, Aoife?
How does what make me feel that...
Dove saying that she trusts you.
You know, it's funny because until you asked that question, I assumed I would be trusted. So I think just hearing it now, well, I'm still kind of in this haze of familiarity. In fact, the reason why I'm being so intentional with these fae is because I think I have probably some experience with like this type before. It feels like a familiar experience, perhaps from my youth or whatever. So I think just that trust is adding to the warmth and familiarity that I'm feeling, especially because Dove and I have this relation together and our history. It just feels like it grows stronger from that. Just hearing it again.
Does this trust hold true for Nehemiah, Cliff, and Drew?
For Nehemiah, yes. I think his way of kind of showcasing that is by like trying to shield Aoife should anybody come around. And so when she asks when she says, I don't know, you'd have to ask them, he like tilts his head slightly to the right to kind of like bring his eyes like more into Aoife's view. And he is like looking in her direction just out of his right eye.
Nehemiah, please give me a vigilance check.
Sure. That is no successes.
Right. Cliff, does that trust hold for you as well?
For Aoife, sure. And sure is said very explicitly. I think it is not like, to be extreme for a second, it's not to be like he would abandon everyone else, but I think there's only one person he explicitly trusts, and that is Nehemiah. Everyone else is just as the moment needs to. And in this moment, Aoife, Dove, and Drew do have his trust. And that's probably not going to change for any reason unless it does. But also just based on what is happening, what we just experienced with a bunch of Vaesen being taken and used, abused. Not a fight he ever thought he had to fight himself in a weird way. But that is just something on his mind that as a Vaesen, he is part of them. So with these two pixies, you can see two moments happening. One, making sure that validating or corroborating Aoife's feelings about them, just to make sure they're not on some weird shit, but also making sure they're not connected to the one that they chased through this place.
Okay.
But with Aoife basically sussing that out in a way, sussing out at least their truth. Yeah.
Okay. Dove, please give me an observation roll.
Oh boy, if you're sure.
Oh no.
I hope it's not important. I got no successes.
You got no successes. This is great, guys. This is great. Let's get all these low rolls out now.
Guys, it's gonna be fine. Trust me.
Dove, you are so, like, at this point, your teeth are starting to chatter. And you're just like almost closing your eyes. It is so cold out here. Drew, you're beginning to feel like your muscles start to cramp up with how cold it is. Like, you're experiencing the pain, but the cold is having almost a numbing effect, but it's now starting to have like this, oh no, I need to move or else I won't move again. It is very cold. At this point, Phaedra, this tiny little pixie on your shoulders,
Would it be okay if in exchange for the warmth, we gave, perhaps a gift to each of you? Beyond the key?
No. No, you're in our servitude.
Well, what about him?
and Phaedra points at Drew.
That's up to him.
At this point, 3 pixies suddenly appear on your shoulder, Drew. These are a little bit more, still around the same size as Phaedra, but they're a little bit more broad. They're broader and slightly more rotund as far as pixies go. And you hear just the like this deep voice in your ear, which is surprising.
It's like, "Oi, mate, looks like you could do with a bit of healing. Looks like something cracked your ribs, something awful, mate."
Holding.
While we're holding, I love that accent.
It's going to be my excuse to say, "Don't fuck with the Peaky Blinders" in a second. No,
So just give me 1 second. I'm just making sure that the sound is not going to be too great.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine.
Oh boy, what have we gotten ourselves into?
A bevy of pixies.
The Fae.
The Fae.
Yep.
I'm like, oh god.
I'm building an army.
All right, please hold.
I'm holding. How many pixies do you have in your hands, Andy? Not the ones that
Oh, shit.
away, the ones that are in the hand.
The room is full of pixies.
I think that Drew has actually, his attention has not been in the conversation at all. Drew's eyes actually have been kind of like lost in space. with a sort of like level of concern about what specifically people may not necessarily know. When this voice happens close to him, he turns his attention to it, and he just has a moment of, I do not do any trickery deals, but warmth for heal. And then just sort of nods, he's trying his best to keep it sentence logical and the conversation going.
Right, boys, that sounds about as good as a confirmation as we're gonna get from this lug. All right, go to work.
And suddenly the two other pixies who are also like, they look like they are, guys who work in like a car repair. And they, with their gossamer wings, they just suddenly, and they just move to your midsection and your abdominals, Drew. And one sits sort of like square on your chest and sort of just looks at you in the eyes. And they immediately begin to just place hands on you. And immediately you begin to feel the bruises and the pain and the muscles relax and return to normal. Any conditions that you currently have are healed. And for those of you, as this is happening, because of Aoife's trust and faith, you suddenly see 20 pixies suddenly around and on you. And like on your shoulders, in your front pocket, Dove, you have two that are sort of just sitting around your waist, and they're just like placing their hands just very lightly, gently on your side. Everybody who has conditions, those are all gone. They are healed.
Have you ever seen a big gruff dog get tackled by kittens?
I've seen a very large Great Dane get tackled by one kitten, and that was hilarious.
But there's a level of what the heck is happening, but also I can't do anything about this because if I do, I'm the bad guy. So we're just as these pixies surround. Really quickly, because you said a number, but I'm just checking. You said 20 pixies. Is that including Phaedra and Nameless?
That is including Phaedra.
Right.
This is Phaedra's. She spoke of her family.
Family, yeah.
This is Phaedra's family. And Phaedra, and it looks like a mixture of uncles, aunties, and children who are just they are alighting on you and sort of like finding their way into like anywhere where there are pockets.
Yeah.
And they're not taking anything, but they are just sort of like being concealed and being warmed by you. And also providing healing to those that need it.
I'm just picturing like Plankton's family from SpongeBob. I don't know if that's the visual you wanted, but that's what I have. I can't read.
That was good.
You are all feeling slightly more warm, a little bit better braced for the cold environment you find yourselves in. Still not dressed appropriately for it, but it feels like there's a little bit of a stopgap for how intense everything is right now. The other thing that is of note is that you have acquired a bosun's key that unlocks certain portions of this vessel. That certain areas where you might need to go at some point. Drew, you are able to like very gingerly sort of like raise yourself off of the deck, and you're able to sort of take in the environment once again, albeit not through this veil of like extreme pain. You see that you hear the gentle din of music off in the distance, and sort of a like the occasional clink of a glass, or of cutlery. You hear sort of a muffled spill of laughter and sort of the ribbon of piano and violin music, and it is a welcome sound. It sort of reminds you vaguely of the streets, some of the music that you would hear in Belfast, that sort of like would always, on very busy days, you would always stop to pause and sort of take that in. It's at this point that you look above and you notice the lifeboats that hang above you in their cradles, these sort of white silhouettes against the star-filled sky. Beyond that, you see sort of the electric sconces of the interior past the window, sort of casting like this warm glow. Also, at this point, you notice that the ship's like superstructure, the where all of the business of the vessel takes place is sort of laid up in front of you, and the smokestacks of the chimneys are like puffing smoke into the night sky as this ship is propelled forward into the inky blackness. The taste of salt is heavy on your tongue, partly because of maybe some blood that you tasted there a few minutes ago, but now it's sort of like as your nasal passages are cleared and your sinuses are cleared of the bloody mucus that you were experiencing, you are able to get that hint of sea spray. At the moment, upon the Titanic, you sort of get this sense of, I'll dare say, invincibility. This is a mighty ship.
Well said.
I think that when Drew is able to stand back up, Aoife, you just hear him call you. And in his voice, you can hear this gravity and concern as he is standing, eyes kind of like looking to the ground. And he just says, Aoife?
Yeah.
And that is enough for you specifically to know why he's concerned about the fact that they are on a boat right now.
Oh, yeah.
And everything around them is water. And so all of the things that Drew can think about right now that the pain is gone, is the Pale Man basically now currently surrounding him in a way.
Yes, and when you say that, again, this lack of, I don't know, ability to ground herself right now, I think that is the most grounding thing for her right now as she settles into the reality of the situation and the fact that no, she isn't home and she is with you and you are in danger because of the situation. So you say the water and her eyes just widen and she looks to Cliff and is like, I know you don't trust the situation, but can we go inside? Please.
Covered pixies. I think arguably I'm probably the warmest. Actually, I don't think I am. I think I'm the coolest. I'm essentially a spirit.
But would you necessarily... Oh, okay. All right. I understand what you're saying.
Black dogs are more like ghostly. I think I probably don't really... Either way. Get into a tangent. Warm enough. Yeah. Start looking for the obvious opening.
Okay. You see, so where you're standing on the poop deck, you can see that you can sort of like see past like or down both of the main gangways of the ship, both to starboard and to port, and you see the RMS Titanic, the lettering displayed in front of you, and you and you see the faint glow coming from these little portholes on these doors and windows as they sort of like eke out into the night. There's also stairs that go down from that. I'm going to reference the maps. There are also stairs sort of going down towards what would be considered the third class smoke room and open space, and then the entrance to third class. Yes.
Which one is this?
So if we are looking at the poop deck, we're looking at the far
Sorry,
left.
which of the files? Which of the pictures?
Yeah.
Oh, the most recent one.
Okay, cool. Poop deck.
Also, fun fact. Did you guys know that the rearmost portion, the rearmost smokestack is entirely unnecessary and serves absolutely no function?
It was for
It was merely
aesthetics.
put there. It was for symmetry.
Symmetry.
It was there for aesthetics. It serves no purpose whatsoever. It doesn't actually. It's a smokestack that does nothing. It's not connected to anything.
Cursed. So poop deck, third class, smoke room, and open spaces where we are.
Yep. And you can see obviously like the lifeboats hanging in the rigging along the side, and then you see a connection to an electric crane in the rearmost portion, and of course you see the entrance to what would be considered the second class smoke room and lounge.
I see. I think Aoife would say, I do think following the music is a good move for us.
Yeah. Agreed.
Give me an observation check.
Who?
Or actually, give me an investigation check, Nehemiah.
Would Eagle Eye be involved in this at all?
Yes.
You got it. 2 successes.
2 successes. The music seems to be coming from the third class area of the ship. It is so the down towards the third class saloon deck. It's just one more level down, basically.
Well, we ain't got far to go, so just one floor down.
Let's make moves then.
Let's.
At this point, you suddenly see coming from those stairs. You see a sailor coming up from below deck. He is probably. He looks incredibly young, probably in his 20s. And he is moving fairly fast as he's coming up the deck, and he suddenly sees all of you, and he sees Aoife and Dove, and he sees, "Oi, you lot are probably way too cold. You got to get below deck."
Yeah, we'd love to.
Well, and he opens the door down the stairs, and says, "Yeah, get into the saloon area where it's nice and warm. There's a band playing, and I'm sure you probably will go back to your rooms when you're ready."
Nehemiah immediately averts his eyes, and he reaches back to grab Dove's hand.
Absolutely, she takes your hand and is like gripping it tightly.
Mhm.
She's also already done that like stereotypical widow at the window, like tucking over her layered scarves because it was covered in some blood. So she's just trying to be less conspicuous in this moment and is like, as soon as he mentions it's cold, she looks down, sees the blood, covers it up, and grabs Nehemiah's hand in response.
And Nehemiah gives a yes, I'm sorry, and very meek, quiet, and just moves, doesn't want to be in this person's presence any longer than he has to.
At this point, you see another gentleman coming up the side, and he says, "Excuse me, my good man. Pardon me. Perhaps you recognize me. My name is Jacob, John Jacob Astor the Fourth.
Not this.
And my wife and I were enjoying this delightful evening. The sky is truly resplendent, and I must say, would it be a bother to have somebody bring us some nice coffee from the galley?" And immediately, the officer just looks him up and down. Still young, but also he's on this boat, like he's one of the main crew members of this boat. I won't be the one to bring it to you myself, but I will definitely try and find someone. Yes. Do what you do best. Yes. We'll be at midships or thereabouts. Just look for the lady in the nice hat. And he turns on a dime and walks back in the direction that he came. You see the young officer just sort of roll his eyes. Fucking first class bastards. And
so 2 moments just happened. He has clocked immediately the undertone of Nehemiah and Dove. 1. And the way this Astor has kind of come into this space and treated the sailor sparks many things for Cliff, but mostly going back to his job, which is protection. Protection isn't always with aggressive force. It also isn't always sticking to the shadows like one would think. And you see Cliff almost take on, I don't want to say a persona, but a smile comes onto his face. Remembering when you first met him, he looked like a hobo with, a crowbar and liquor on his side. He pulls out that flask that he has, kind of haphazardly swings his arms around the sailor with a, yeah, don't think you've ever had this before. Don't worry about that. In a sense of one genuinely putting on almost a persona of someone who is kind and helpful, and but mostly if any attention needs to come on this group, it's going to be on him first with the sailor, not on the ones he is protecting as they step into this place, this saloon hall.
Okay. And that we're going to take a short break as we begin to make our way below decks with our pixie family. You begin your descent down the stairs towards the saloon, or third class saloon of the Titanic. I don't know why I said it like that. The
Wow.
Titanic.
Wow.
The gentleman, his name is James Paul Moody, opens. He's the officer who has greeted you all, and he opens the door to the saloon, and suddenly you guys are all blasted in the face with just warmth and smells of alcohol and food that has been made. Third class on the Titanic is still third class on the Titanic. It is still, especially in the upper deck, still very, very nice, even for the common folk. And so you hear also this music. There is an Irish jig that is being played out in towards the center of the room. There are these long tables that people are eating. It seems to be just like dinner time and sort of the time in the evening where people are sort of kicking back and enjoying. You see that there is a clock showing it to be about 6 in the evening, or actually closer to 7. We'll say 7 in the evening on April the 14th.
Woof. I mean, it's
That is
fine.
rude. They got 24 hours.
Do they?
Well, maybe.
To live.
You see that there are just a wide assortment of people here, seeming to come from all walks of life. You see that there's a few reverends, there's some musicians, there are people that look like people that you've encountered in your everyday life. You hear a variety of different languages. You hear French. You hear sort of the Gaelic. You hear people speaking in I'll say British or English accents, and you just, it is a melting pot of things that you would have encountered in the streets of Belfast. Honestly, you feel not foreign in this space. You feel like this is a welcome area. You see some people sort of give you the up and down, but it's more so looking at your clothes, and then just going right about their business. These do not seem to be like investigative glances to determine who you are. There's a lot of people on this ship. There are some long tables that are unoccupied. You see some children sort of running around along the deck, and you hear in the very rearmost portion, you hear the sound of a voice beginning to sing. At this point, you guys are now moved into the room. You're away from the stairs. Sixth Officer James Paul Moody closes the door and just gives you guys a nod, and he looks at you, Dove, and says, "Sorry, I'm off to go serve some bastard some coffee," and he goes back up the stairs, but before he does, he sort of just looks at you and he's like, maybe I'll see you later, or something. I don't know. It's a big ship, but it's not that big a ship,
So sorry, there are pixies in the pot, dear.
Sorry, love? What?
Oh, the liquor in my mind.
Nehemiah
Oh,
just spins.
He looks from Dove to Nehemiah to Drew to Cliff and Eva, and he's like, I'm so sorry. Here, And then he just gets super awkward. He blushes, and he realizes that he's made possibly a mental and social miscue, and he sort of backs up to the door, opens it behind, continues to back through the door, closes it in front of him, and realizes that he's made it even more awkward by what he's doing, and suddenly turns around and goes back up the steps.
Oh my god.
He didn't want to say, like, she sounds insane.
Nehemiah watches that with all of the reference of a Tom and Jerry skit, but being in the Tom and Jerry skit because his mouth is half open, ready to cover for Dove, and then he just does that and he goes, I won't waste my breath on an excuse then. So
if it works, it works.
He just looks back at Dove and just... And... okay.
We should not willy-nilly, though, mention entities.
That's fair. I got a bit nervous.
Dove, if you need to, honey, you can just look to me and I will talk. I'm not saying you're incapable, just if you need to.
I'll give you the signal.
At this point, there is the sound of the music and the singing beginning to occur. At this point, Aoife, you feel Phaedra just sort of lightly tap you on the shoulder.
Excuse me, miss. We thank you so much for your warmth and your hospitality and the spirit with which you have given. I hope that you feel that we've held up our end of the bargain with the gift that we have given you. And I hope that you're able to put the key to good use. But would we consider our servitude discharged?
For what exactly? I kind of whisper to my shoulder.
Well, you see, we're pixies, and we like to be around... we like to make use of our sticky fingers.
I see, and you have not done anything to uphold the end of my bargain, at least. Perhaps with the others you can negotiate.
Excuse me, are you attempting to bargain further with the Fae?
You have not upheld your end of the bargain. To what have you served me?
We've given you our... We gave you a mighty gift. We gave you the key.
Me? No. You gave him the key, and then you healed him.
But we're really adorable and cute, and I thought we had like a really good rapport and
body heat for servitude. That is how we have agreed.
Okay.
You can be sour about it. I'm not going to abuse it. We don't have too much time for that.
Okay, I need to know how long before this little... Again, I'm a pixie. I'm the brightest of the Fae, but I wouldn't say necessarily that this bargain can continue much further beyond the gifts that we've already exchanged.
Like I said, with me, you have bargained nothing.
Nehemiah is going to Nehemiah very discreetly kind of like looks at Aoife and just like puts up one finger and then does like a pulling motion afterwards, hoping that the pixies don't notice him doing that. Because he like looks at Aoife for like a second and then it's just like he's trying to tell her to like maybe they take one thing for her.
Yeah, I figured I would just, again, I said put it on my tab, meaning, or put it on your tab, I said, to allude to, I'll decide later. But up until this point, there was no specific agreed upon terms. So I was going to say to this like established like timeline that they're asking for, she would say, "You should have considered that before you've taken our body heat."
Okay. What particular service would you like my family and I to assist you with so that we might be free of this bargain?
You know, I'm still thinking about it. I'm still defrosting a little bit.
Oh, this.
It's your deal.
This is
not
impossible.
mine. It is not impossible.
Drew
It
is
is very
going.
possible.
Drew is going to approach you, Aoife, and is going to say to you in Spanish very quietly, "Pregúntale sobre el vampiro," and would translate on your book as "ask them about the vampire."
I almost, because I'm kind of holding my own, but like I kind of want you to. I think maybe I would say, maybe you should ask.
I think Drew still seems a little off and distracted about where he is, but he takes a moment to look at the pixies on Aoife's shoulder and says, "There is this man, creature, dangerous one. Not just for us, but for your kind as well."
I'm sorry. You're saying aboard the vessel there's...
We believe so. So, we are trying to stop him. Perhaps this arrangement could be about if you see them or any other strange folk, some of them perhaps with some uniforms that seem quite not like this time. Perhaps you could lend us a hand with information.
This is most alarming. She looks at every single one of you in the eye. And it's like she sees... she's seen Cliff, so she knew that you guys were a bit weird. But she's seeing you. Wait. You lot are... And she, if you'll allow, Aoife.
For free?
She touches, with her tiny hand, she touches your cheek. You're not from here. You're not from now. Where? When? Why? Why are... And then she looks at you, Drew, and she looks at all of you again. You're chasing you said a creature. Yes. And we should be on the lookout for odd uniforms. You see her sort of like straighten up. In fact, all of the pixies kind of like imitate or mimic the move or the body language she now has. They sort of like puff out their chests a little bit, like a tiny child who has no idea or is not comprehending the danger that they're in, but they're still putting on a brave face. Okay. What kind of creature is it? What do they look like? Do they have big, nasty, pointy teeth?
Not only that, Nehemiah speaks up and then lowers his voice and kind of moves a little bit close to Aoife again. And he goes, a complete disregard and dislike for everyone and anything that is not like them.
That sounds frightening.
Oh, it's at least 3 times as frightening as I made it sound.
Well, that doesn't really narrow the field, now does it?
It means...
I mean, technically, pixies in a large number are kind of scary. And she looks at, like, her entire family. Well, maybe if there were at least, like, 10 times of us around, we'd be a little bit more scary. But, like, what do they look like? Like, what
They want not just you enslaved, but your entire people enslaved. My entire people enslaved. His, pointing at Drew, entire people enslaved. And his, pointing at Cliff, people enslaved. They want everyone under their heel. The one we're looking for in specific, though, he's a pale white asshole with a real fucked up looking uniform. And the pointy teeth.
Oh, so he does have pointy teeth. Okay.
We know that he's a vampire, correct? Have we determined that or no?
I
thought we did.
believe.
Yeah, I think we did. Yeah.
We've
definitely.
Yeah.
We've definitely
I think
confirmed
Drew
that at this
just,
point.
after Nehemiah's explanation, he just adds to it, just quietly says, vampire.
Wait. Here? How did they... Wait, where did you lot come from?
This is a longer conversation. Okay, sorry, really quickly. We are kind of in the open space talking to these pixies right now.
Yeah, for anyone who's like wandering around you, it looks like you guys are talking to each other.
Okay.
It doesn't look like it doesn't look like a bunch of people just sort of talking to themselves.
I figured we were in like a hallway or like stairwell down.
Yeah, I was thinking
No,
hallway,
you've already made.
but like
You're in the saloon now.
We are in the saloon. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're like near the entrance of the saloon. You're by some of the long tables. There are some kids that are, running around near you, sort of playing with different toys. There are some people having dinner. Some are at the bar itself, just having some, beverages. And the music is playing down at the other end of the hall.
Right.
Okay.
But nobody's really paying attention to individual conversations, at least not from what you can tell.
Perfect. So, understandably, I feel that we could use your assistance in this. I'm just not exactly sure how. At least you could pay your debt to me.
The pixie is very much a creature of us. There's a single-mindedness to them where they're very much they're like fully focused on one thing, and then they're ADHD. They are very ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like very fixated on one thing and then distracted and then immediately move to the next thing. So when you bring up the vampire and you're describing it to them, you see their eyes go wide. There is that moment of terror. They've never, Phaedra is just like, how did they get, this is horrible. This is very, and she looks down at her children and the whole family, and amidst all of them just sort of hanging in and out of your breast pockets, and some of them are peeking out of portions of your dress, or some of them might a tiny child pixie might be in your hair.
Aww.
And she looks at all of her family. And then at the mention of the deal, she turns back to you, Aoife, and perhaps if we give you an early warning, or perhaps if we spot them and we let you know right away where they are. Do you mean to kill them?
I look at everyone else. I'm pretty sure we all share the idea that we're trying to kill them. Granted, we also know that there are way out of this situation. So
yeah. I think I want to point that I don't think the word kill has ever registered out of Cliff's mouth, because how do you truly kill something like that?
yeah,
But
we want to just
but we're ending whatever it's happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't want to give them hope that this thing can be killed. As someone who is hard to be killed.
Yeah. So then I think surveying everyone's eyes and kind of like considering that read, she says, I do think knowing their whereabouts would be perhaps a fair trade for whatever we intend on doing to them.
Phaedra, there's a tiny, tight little smile that appears on their face, and they look at the rest of their family. And at this point, Drew, you see the fat uncle just sort of like standing on your shoulder, and he's just like, "Oh, we might be able to help with that. Don't worry, love. We got you. Yeah, we me and the other boys, we got a little bit of a connect down in the lower decks. You know, others of our kind, you know, just keeping eyes out for each other, you know, just a lot of, you know, except for that night hag, there's, you know, tons of us down there, down in the lower decks, just trying to keep out of sight, but we'll definitely put the word out.
Yeah.
We'll put the word out for you. If we spot anything, you'll be the first to know.
There's more Vaesen down below.
Aye, yeah. There's a multitude of us down there. We're all trying to make our ways out of Frankston Island, and you know, parts of, you know, England and all those places, mainly because, you know, our world's getting smaller. So we need to need to move to greener areas, places where there are more trees, and a rock and a stone are undisturbed, and
the woman. And he sort of nods in the direction, because I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Aoife has the notes that we found. And some of those notes have the picture of the woman that we have been searching for, or looking the reports about where she was spotted and all that?
Yes.
yes.
So Drew's just, the comment of the woman is just his way of kind of like being like, since we're asking about the vampire, might as well also, since they have connections everywhere, it may be easier to also find her.
Oh, yes. Oh, so yeah, I think you say the woman, and it kind of connects in Aoife's mind, and she's like, Violet Jessup.
I'm going to put this into the general chat. This is a picture of Violet Jessup.
And she directs it back to the pixies. Would you also be able to help us find a Violet Jessup?
Wait. Phaedra, her eyes go wide at the mention of the name. And Quincy looks like he's about to say something. And Phaedra says, hold on. Why do you want to know about the Jessup?
She's important to learning more about what's going on here.
You're kind of breaking Phaedra's mind right now. You have appeared out of thin air, something that pixies really want to do, but you have somehow managed it. You have provided her and her entire family with warmth, and somehow, at the same time, also entered into a never-ending bargain with them that they are now beholden to honoring till the end of time, it seems. And
I love them to believe that.
You have gained the ability of, or you've gained their help in giving you guys surveillance in search of this evil creature. But now you've mentioned something that triggers something in them.
Yeah.
I think that they look like trustworthy folk. I mean, except for this one. And he points at Clifford. I don't necessarily like how he looks at me
I don't really want to look him in the eyes ever, but he's with you guys. He seems like a respectable chap. But
He's trustworthy.
All right. Which one is he following around with you lot?
Sorry?
He's connected with one of you. Which one is it?
I don't think we've ever mentioned that out loud, have we?
No.
It's never been.
Okay.
It's never been said out loud. Yeah, but it has been very, very, very obvious. He is always following Nehemiah.
I think Dove looks at Nehemiah and then directly away and says, "Signal."
Nehemiah has been looking at the bartender across the room the entire time this conversation has been happening, and he does not even flinch when he says which one of you is being followed around. This is the hardest he's ever tried to be I don't know.
Ooh. Give
And
me
if you need me to roll, I'll do it.
Yeah, give me a... Oh, what do I want? I want you to roll... Okay.
Possibly a manipulation.
Yeah, this is a manipulation. Yep. All right.
Sorry, what are you talking
This
about?
is manipulation against I'll say an investigation? Or...
Okay.
Yeah.
It's 3 6s from Chaboy.
Oh.
Wow.
I only got 2.
Wow.
I only got 2. Oh. So... Quincy, the rotund uncle of the Pixie clan, has he looks at every single one of you. All right then, Phaedra, let them keep their secrets. They've been very upfront. They've shared a lot with us. They've given us their warmth. We don't need to know everything about them. They seem like a noble lot.
No.
I really don't like how he looks at me. I don't know what, I just hey you, little ones, avert your eyes. And,
Just, he doesn't bear
you don't
anything.
know about Quincy. He maybe has had a bad experience.
Hey, probably. Get it.
With
Cliff understands what he is, in all ways. He understands that typically, and honestly, I think this is a true, we're used to it with the site, especially you all, but even then, there's how a pixie acts and how a black dog acts. Like there's joy, there's a little bit of, silliness, but the essence of a black dog is terror. So he understands why these questions are happening. Nevertheless, he just lets the others keep this conversation going, just takes a drink from his flask, and kind of watches. There's a level of finality that doesn't come upon him as far as the severity of this. He's just doing his job.
As you take that swig, you're sort of looking around. Dove, are you wearing any jewelry? Sorry, did you hear me?
You talking to me?
Yes.
Yes, I am wearing jewelry.
How much jewelry are you wearing?
Oh, God.
And if I may ask, where are you wearing it?
Hold on, I actually have this written down in my little equipment. Okay, so I have a little powdered compact that has been turned into a locket, so that is necklace style. I have some powdered staghorns and an old school poisoner's ring on my hand.
Andy's eyes.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Everything else is not jewelry, so I won't be admitting to anything.
Okay. You suddenly feel like this pressure suddenly kick against the jewel or the it's hanging around your neck?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You feel like this something very slight just kick at it, as if and then you look down and you see a tiny little pixie child trying to like open it, get very frustrated, and kick it. As it's like, and then you see it's like this very like anime moment where they suddenly turn and look up at you, and they have these giant eyes. Like their eyes are like half the size of their head. And they look up at you, and it's like, would you like to enter into a bargain with me, please?
Oh.
I would very much like what is wrapped around your neck.
And tell me, great bargainer, what exactly would I be getting from this trade?
Oh.
Yeah, it's the other part, you see, the other half.
Think. I've done some thinking. And my thinking, I have an ideas about what you might be able to have from me. I can be very, very, very sneaky.
And so what are you offering me? Your stealth?
Yes, my stealth. And you see, it is a tiny little boy pixie, but he's got to be like the newest member of the clan.
I see. Well, how many deals have you made before? Great bargainer.
This would be my first one.
Oh, well then I simply can't refuse now, can I?
No,
Exactly.
you can't.
And so I do have conditions, of course.
Okay. Shh. Don't
Sorry.
say anything to anyone else.
Of
I
course.
want it to be a surprise when I tell them that I got a bargain.
Sure. Well, how about, for now, I give you the chain of this locket. And then, when you use your stealth to bring me back some information that I can use, you get the other big, hefty, shiny part. And, if it's good information, I'll open it for you, so you don't have to kick it.
Hold on 1 second.
Oh, God.
Double, toil and trouble.
So, I like that bargain. I think I might be able to do you one better, though. You give me the whole locket, or you let me hide inside the very center of it, and I could make you invisible for a very, very small amount of time.
How small is a very small amount of time, my friend?
2 seconds.
He has to think about it, because he's trying to think about, is really, really small the best thing, or should it be longer? He doesn't know. He's trying to figure it out. And so he like straightens up, and he has like little suspenders. He's wearing like a lederhosen, and he's just sort of looking. He's just puts his thumbs in. He says, "How long do you need?"
I would say to be invisible and get the information I'd need at least 5 minutes.
Done. And he extends his tiny hand to you, which is impossible for you to reach for, because he is literally sitting like right here, like on top of the pendant.
That's
and he's sort of-
okay. I have a little hairpin, and I take it out. And even though the hairpin itself is just a hairpin, on the end is one of those like hands with an eye in the center. And so I reach it out kind of like with the hand part facing forward, so it can shake the hand of my hairpin.
Is it a Hamza?
Yes.
Okay. He looks at the ornate hairpin. Oh. That's really, really cool too.
I think I would like one of those, but I won't make a bargain for it right now. We'll stick with the original agreement. And he shakes the tiny Hamza hairpin, and he sees it, and it looks like a scepter to him. So he thinks it's the coolest thing, and he. Would you mind opening this now?
Oh, of course. And
Because I'm going to play hide and seek from my brothers.
oh, this is very good hiding place. In fact, no one's ever been found in here. I can guarantee it. And she cranks it open, kind of like a music box. It's got like little clockwork gear bits in it. And as it like cranks open, there is no music inside. But it has been since cleaned out, and she'll hold it out for the little guy to hop in. And as she does, she goes, I'm so sorry. And I hope this isn't taboo, but what should I call you?
What would you like to call me?
Well, you're very tiny. And you fit in this contraption here, which means you fit in my palm, and that means you fit in my pocket. How does pocket sound?
I loves it.
Great, pocket. And you can call me when you need anything. Okay, good luck hiding. And she'll just close it.
You close it. You hear just the faintest like rustle sound of somebody. It's like when a child is like hiding underneath blankets when you like go into their bedroom, and they might have been standing up in their crib a second ago, but now they immediately like dive under the blankets and hide. And because of course they can't see you, you can't see them, but you hear this tiny little rustling, and then them sort of settle into the inner workings of the pendant. This whole interaction is not lost on Phaedra. She's watched the entire thing, and she just gives an appreciative nod. Like she knows that what you've done, and you all have continued to give to this little pixie family. And with this bargain struck, they are going to, you see Quincy and the other three uncles, they disappear into a flurry of sparkles that is completely not visible to anybody else in the room except for you all. And Phaedra looks at you, Aoife and Cliff, Nehemiah, Drew, Meadow. They're going to go put the word out for this vampire. But listen, I need to hear honesty. Why are you looking for the Jessup?
I think Dove is making eye contact with everyone individually around the room, waiting to see who's going to say it first. But her eyes linger on Aoife because Aoife had the notes. Aoife spent the most time with the information, and Aoife is the best with words, in Dove's opinion. So, like, summing them up, I think Dove trusts Aoife the most to do it.
And Rachel is remembering very hard that she was relevant to the case. They had the file on her because she was on all of the ships. But was there more information about that I'm just not recalling?
You remember from the time that the vampire was in your mind, and he was speaking through you.
Right.
But also the dossier stated that this person, Violet Jessup, who did appear multiple times, she is a guardian of some kind of Vaesen royalty that is making passage right now.
Of course, I recall that. Then I think with eyes on her, she would say, I think it's safe to say that she's in danger.
Okay. All right.
she looks at Thatch, her husband, who's been always sort of standing ever since you guys encountered the two of them. He's always been standing behind her, and she looks at him, and he does this motion. And, all right. She is gathered in the lower decks with a Fae Queen and Princess. They are the royals of our people. And it is very important that they make their way to America. They are leading us to a new home.
If all of those knowing hmms are going off at the same time.
That's kind of me above table, like crying for their death that hasn't happened yet.
I do think that Dove is going to scan the area a little bit and say, maybe I could help with some time. A ritual?
Dove, give me an observation check.
Oh dear.
I was going to ask if I could do the same. Thinking about, he doesn't know the full understanding of Project Gate or whatever, with the vampire, but thinking about the Vaesen that have been captured thus far to do X, Y, and Z, suddenly this has become, is the vampire trying to get the royal? Are they important? Is their power important? Whatever. Is that what brought down the tide? Now it's just like on, not alert, but is now like starting to like not look with his eyes, but start to just like get into what's going on. Anything else in the room, but not just how people are acting, like what's the vibe, like just trying to see what he can see on the outside too.
Give me, I'll say also give me an observation.
Thank you. It is my best stat, that's why I asked.
And
That was one success.
I'll say Drew and Nehemiah also give me observation checks as well.
Do I have anything to add to this? No.
I want to save them. I want to get them to America.
3 6s.
3 6s from Nehemiah.
Mm-hmm. 2 so far, so 1 fell. Oh, sorry, 2 fell. 1. There you go. 2 successes.
2 successes, so 5 overall. 1 success from Dove. Okay. As you all begin to look around, Aoife, you're still in conversation with Phaedra. But you look around, the rest of you, you suddenly start to see them. You start to see more of the Vaesen, sort of like moments where you sort of, oh, that human looks like they're just sort of like huddled over a dish, or, you know, oh, they're dancing and they're sort of like very flowy skirt. And then you start to see the real, through the sight. And you see that amidst the collection of humanity that you find in third class, there are Vaesen here, moving about, unbothered, just sort of two worlds existing simultaneously, just together on this floating ship. And everyone seems, with the exception of a handful, maybe, you know, 4 or 5, there's a leprechaun who has looked in your direction. There's another odd boggart who's sort of like scurrying around. But they all look at you, and the ones that seeing you recognize them. There's this momentary look of confusion or fear, and then they see you talking to the pixies, and they're like, and there's a nod that they sort of look back at you. And there's not an acceptance necessarily, but there is an acknowledgement of your presence and for better or for worse, you can see them and they don't feel necessarily threatened by that. As you, I will say, as you begin sort of like, again, take in the atmosphere, you hear suddenly and Quincy suddenly reappears with the three uncles and talking to Drew and to Nehemiah.
Oi, there's a murder downstairs. In one of the... It'd be best if you lot came with us. There's blood everywhere.
Oh.
One of the rooms has been broken into, and whatever that thing is that you brought with you, it is fed.
I immediately like snapping as soon as he says brought with you. I think it would be more accurate to say that it brought us with it.
Are you really quibbling with me about words right now?
Nope, I'm just making sure you understand that we did not bring this evil here. We came here to stop it. As he starts moving.
At this point, two of the uncles sort of fly and land on your shoulder, Nehemiah, and they're sort of like pointing you in the direction of the door, past the music, past the dancing. There are two doors that lead down into the lower level of the third class section of the ship.
I will point out that Nehemiah only loosens his grip with Dove in a way to be like, you don't have to come and see this. So like, if she continues to hold on to his hand, then he's not going to let go. But it's very clearly like you don't have to come for this without turning around.
Yeah.
So it's up to Dove whether she's going to continue to hold his hand or not, because they've been holding hands the whole time. So,
Ain't that true, huh? Yeah. No, she's continuing with you for sure.
Okay.
But I'm looking back for a moment at Cliff in this second because every time I look for Cliff Batman's away.
It's one of those things. Well, not in Batman's away. It's one of those things where it goes back to the unspokenness of the question that was asked: who is he connected to? Nehemiah has left, and for a moment you see Cliff thinking about the fact that the officer didn't seem to have the same sight. The upper class person didn't have the same sight. So in this moment, going full dog is not a problem. He has already shifted, following behind Nehemiah into full dog.
Okay. I just because I want to see what happens. You are doing this in an alternate time, or in a past time, not alternate, past. Can you give me a D6 roll?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
5.
Clifford, we're going to have you take a back seat next session because we're going to see a little bit of Marianne.
Who?
Okay.
What?
Okay. Is everyone else following Nehemiah?
Yeah, as soon as there's motion, I'm going with the ocean, you know what I mean?
Okay.
I think Drew,
I understand.
Drew is with Aoife, and Drew's actually talking to Aoife in Spanish. She gestures because he's thinking faster than he can speak in English.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's just continuing. La mujer que estaba en todos los diferentes botes se hundieron, pero ella sobrevivió, pero en este no. Y quizás por eso es que it's just sort of telling you this woman has been connected to all these different boats. And then this boat has Vaesen that are going to a different place. But this is a boat that we know, in our time at least, that it sank. And now the question is, if it's the same boat, did it sink because someone was trying to stop the vessel from getting to the destination? And if that is the case, did it sink the way that it was told it sank? Or was it something else?
Yeah, I mean, I think, like, are you walking and talking? Like, I think there's this
Yes.
yeah, there's this fast motion. And Aoife has her book out, I feel. So as this is happening, I feel she's immediately channeling and translating, and kind of connecting all this information. And I was a little dazed, and again, like, bumping into somebody, maybe, oh, sorry, I'm walking by, and reading all of this, and just, like, kind of looks at Drew just with this it's like overwhelming, but also this fear that maybe this is why all of this is happening. I think it's just, I don't think she's really responding. I think she's just kind of taking in everything and is just shaking her head in this, not necessarily disagreeing, but just kind of like horror of everything that's falling into place as it's happening in real time. But I think ultimately she's trying to keep up.
Okay. Dove,
I think.
just because I
Oh, sorry.
don't know if we've actually truly ever said specifically how it works, I would like for you to explain how your gift works.
Gift is an interesting word.
Yes.
So a lot of it is draped in mystery, but when Dove goes to sleep, or when Dove is exhausted, or when Dove is not vigilant enough, there is something that begins like a tremor that feels more like a convulsion that becomes a compulsion that she cannot control, and she begins to write. She doesn't know how it works, but sometimes it can be helpful. Usually it's just horrific and not often worth the exhaustion and pain that it takes to do it.
Do you have pen and paper with you?
Of course, always.
Do you have ink?
I should, yeah.
Okay.
I have writer's supplies, technically.
Right. Okay. That is something that I'm going to remember. Okay. So, you all continue through the door down the stairs to a lower level of third class. Following Quincy and the three uncles towards a room, a passenger's room, where potentially something ghastly and evil has occurred. I'll say it's pretty certain every one of you knows that the moment you all arrived here, a clock started. And that's where we will leave it for tonight.